a little while ago that said that normal was not working, and what we need to do is create something better than normal. Well, you know, it is with the benefit of hindsight that we can clearly see that the normal we experienced before the pandemic was not working. And I think that was a false normal. Our increasingly unrelenting pace of life and the transition to a more online environment has distanced us from a sense of reality. With the advent of fake news, social media echo chambers, and the non-stop interference of work into our social time via our phones and tablets, we barely had time to stop and reflect on the world around us. Has the pandemic actually reintroduced us to a more authentic normal, one in which we have a stronger sense of community and social responsibility? It feels like we lost sight of those values and we now are beginning to see them again. We do need something better than the old normal going forward, and I'm in no doubt that moral and social responsibility will play an essential role in life, both at home and at work going forward. I think, in other words, what I'm saying is that it's not a question of a new normal, it's rediscovering a normal that we lost. I think that, you know, I think the last 20 years has, you know, accelerated our pace of life, and it's distanced us from what normal was. And that was those values that we used to have around respect for each other, around our communities, and around the time we spent with our families and at home. Of course, there has been a global sea change, not just a sea change for social responsibility, but a global sea change. Since February, the world has changed dramatically, and the focus on social responsibility has become far more important. We are already witnessing some incredible acts of kindness and support for struggling businesses, charities, and individuals. These will become normal as consumers and stakeholders expect increased social value from the businesses they are engaged with. I think it's hugely important that there is business happening on trust and a lot of goodwill. And it's about the relationships rather than the price, which is how it used to be. So it goes back to the idea of building value around trust and delivery and building relationships with organisations. And I think part of the future, the coming months, there'll be a lot of businesses that will be relaxed about payment conditions or paying up front or making supplies available on a 6-month you know, payment schedule or whatever it might be, to make sure that the businesses that are dealing with other businesses, the B2B market, stays vital and in touch. So over the past few years, employees have recognised their workforce need for both care and purpose. And in the light of recent events, this is more important now than ever before. It is likely that when we return to the office, businesses will have both the opportunity and desire to rethink their approach to well-being and culture. Having said that, how has your business been operating during the past 6 weeks? Has this involved the use of technology? Have you saved time on travel? Have you reduced your carbon footprint? And have you been more engaged with the community? Have you been more aware of the impact on your staff? If the answer is yes to any of these questions, you have already been involved in social responsibility during lockdown. COVID-19 has triggered a wave of social awareness across the world. This will change the way we as individuals and businesses interact with each other and the community. First of all, a little bit about what is corporate social responsibility, or CSR. CSR is aimed at encouraging companies to be more aware of the impact of their business on the rest of society, including their own stakeholders and the environment. CSR is an approach that contributes to sustainable development by delivering economic, social and environmental benefits for all stakeholders. CSR is a concept with many definitions and practices that address many various topics such as human rights, corporate governance, health and safety, environment effects, working conditions and contribution to economic development. The purpose of CSR is to drive change towards sustainability. CSR is about achieving better results for the business too, better productivity and better financial results. So much has already changed and we are now seeing positive effects in the world around us, not just a significant improvement in the environment, air quality and biodiversity, but in our own lives. Time to reflect, time to spend with our families, a new connection with neighbours and a respect for an appreciation for others, especially key workers and the charities who care for those in need. So CSR is something that is very flexible and very dynamic. What we're trying to do is we're trying to establish a standard for CSR so that we can look at our own businesses and incorporate what we're already doing into that standard. Consumers, employees, investors, stakeholders and new recruits will not just expect to deal with responsible companies, they will insist on it. A recent study of millennials by American Express found that in the US, 68% want to make a positive difference to the world, and 81% believe that a successful business needs to have a genuine purpose. So as I said, this was a trend that was already happening. We were beginning to see Generation Z and the millennial generation demanding better value and purpose in the work that they wanted to do. And I think what the last 6 or 7 weeks has done is kind of galvanized that attitude and has made businesses start to think about the sort of business that they want to be in the future. So what we wanted to do is define the new CSR for the new future. Social responsibility is for every organisation. And we've introduced a standard system that provides a simple and straightforward process where you can record your organisation's activity against the CSR 4 pillars of environment, workplace, community and philanthropy. Each CSR pillar is designed to help you audit, benchmark, improve and impact report on areas such as energy and waste, health and wellbeing, community engagement and supporting charities. This CSR policy can then be delivered in line with an ongoing CSR strategy that is integrated with the business strategy. Social responsibility will become a normal strategic business practice from businesses ensuring long-term sustainable profitability. A new normal for business will include a change in business practices that have impacts against the CSR 4 pillars. So we can start to look at the things that have happened in the recent weeks. Under the environmental pillar, there will be a change to the way we travel to work. There will be flexible commute times. There'll be more walking and cycling. There'll be working from home. There'll be a different attitude towards waste management and reduced use of energy. To reduce your environmental impacts, organisations should adopt an integrated approach that takes into consideration the direct and indirect economic, social, health and environmental implications of their decisions and activities. There's the doorbell. And for workplace, well, workplace has had a significant change. And even today, we've been looking at what the modern workplace may look like. So we can talk initially about flexible working hours, hot desking, the use of technology, mental health and well-being, skills training, and emotional investment. One of the things that social responsibility is very good at is it's delivering an ability to emotionally invest in your employees. It gives opportunities for employers to enrich the quality of employees' life by offering them the opportunity to volunteer. In other words, to include social responsibility as part of their job description. And this has a benefit not only on production, but on loyalty and improved mental health and well-being in the office. During COVID-19, we've noticed the furloughed staff who have been asked to go home and do nothing. It's incredibly hard to do nothing. It's much easier if we're being asked to do something. And so actually being able to volunteer or train or do something while you're furloughed gives you a sense of purpose and value. The relationship between a company and its employees can have a big impact on the relationship between a company and its customers. Organisations should embrace their workplace CSR as a natural part of their business model. Existing and potential employee values are rapidly changing along with business models and the need to strive for sustainability. 87% of employees now expect their employer to support them in balancing their work and personal commitments. Providing the right support is not a luxury, it's a necessity. So part of that workplace CSR strategy is actually embracing the idea of flexible working, allowing people to work from home, to hot desk, and to perhaps not have to travel for every single meeting. There is also the community pillar. It is widely accepted today that organisations have a relationship with the communities in which they operate. This relationship should be based on community involvement to promote and contribute to community development. Community involvement, either individually or through associations seeking to enhance the public good, helps to strengthen civil society. Now, some businesses are taking this a step farther, encouraging their people to take on skills-based placements which benefit both employees and those they're helping. By giving employees the opportunity to give something back, employers have found a way to give their people positive purpose outside of their jobs. And it is certainly a worthwhile endeavour. 89% of volunteers reported increased job satisfaction, and 87% of volunteers reported greater pride in their company. The common good is actually our good. And I think it's important to state that businesses are not apart from community. They are part of community. And we have seen a rise, again, pre-COVID, of corporate engagement with the third sector in terms of business networking. And there are many case studies emerging around how businesses are putting social value at the heart of their business. A good example is a company that builds care homes that have decided that they're going to put leadership around social isolation at the heart of what they were doing. This is something that happened before the COVID-19 virus showed us what social isolation feels like. So it's created a lot of empathy for that strategy. But their idea is not just to build a care home, it's to have a look at the communities that those care homes exist in and identify where social isolation exists in those communities, and then make sure that the building provides the opportunity for those people in the community to actually engage with that care home. So bringing the community into the building. They don't have to do this. They're doing this as a bit of added value. They've also allowed every single member of their staff 1 hour off a week to go and spend time with somebody over the age of 75 in social isolation, working with a local charity to put that together. So this is something that they live and breathe. They put it very much at the heart of their business practice, and it's actually setting them aside in terms of creating visibility and brand reputation for their business. And the final pillar is philanthropy. Modern consumers want to do business with companies that are socially minded. In fact, most people would rather patronise a business that is also serving the community in some way, in addition to making a profit. Therefore, it makes business sense and can positively impact your bottom line to think about how to become philanthropically engaged in your business, in your community, if you haven't done so already. And we've seen some really great evidence about how businesses that engage with charities actually provide a better sense of loyalty for their staff. It creates retention, and it makes you an employer of choice. It also delivers consumer value as well as brand value, and is a brilliant way of using that pillar of philanthropic involvement to create new conversations. The thing about social responsibility, going back to the emotional investment, is it makes you feel good. It is something that makes you feel good because it's about something good. It's delivering something good. And I think the thing is, when you start to deliver that through your business, you can see how that has an impact on all aspects of your business. So it's clear that organisations who understand their social responsibilities and explore ways in which CSR can be built into strategy are more likely to reap the rewards. So with the right culture, you can achieve powerful results for your business. A period of adjustment to the new normal requires a change of mindset to the new normal. The adjustment period to the new normal could be a difficulty for some, as change is not always embraced. It's a fear, and it's a hard thing to do, especially when you're going into an area that's outside your comfort zone and you're having to learn new technologies. But a well-managed transition to the new normal could result in stronger businesses with happier employees, increased productivity, and improved business results. Social responsibility is a good way to approach this transition, and will become a normal and powerful way to achieve business growth. So I think the thing is that businesses are going to look at what the challenges are in the coming months. We are going to see increased unemployment, and we're going to see a lot of financial difficulties. We will see, I don't doubt, we will see significant growth and a bounce back in the new year. And I think unemployment will go down as more jobs are created. But in order to go through that challenge, I think it's about having a map and a strategy that you could follow. And social responsibility against those four pillars is a good starting point, because it helps you identify, what do we need to be a better business? What do we need to attract talent? What do we need to retain talent? What do we need to attract investment, and so on and so forth. So if you kind of use the framework of social responsibility to be the basis of how you can engage with your business and survive through to the next year and the coming years, I think it's a good starting point. So how will this great realization affect your business? Demonstrating your commitment to society will reassure your customers you are the right business to work for. Demonstrating your commitment to society will make you more attractive to potential employees. Demonstrating your commitment to society and your staff will help you retain staff. Demonstrating your commitment to society will attract new customers to you. These are just a few of the areas in which you will have improved benefits by delivering and talking about your social responsibility. So I think it's not, you know, we talk all the time about how we're already doing this kind of stuff. A lot of businesses are doing these things, but we don't talk about it enough. And actually it creates really good narrative and is a brilliant way to connect with all stakeholders. Social responsibility will be a key driver for the long-term sustainable success of business going forward. It will have an impact on all aspects of your business. In order to maximise this potential, it is essential for firms to smartly communicate their CSR efforts to ensure that consumers view them as driven by intrinsic, genuine, rather than extrinsic profit-led motivations. And we saw last year that the American Roundtable representing corporate America had removed profitability as the #1 driver for corporate America and replaced it with social responsibility. And that's not to say it's not important to make money, of course it is, but social responsibility will deliver on the bottom line. The benefits it will bring will not only have a direct impact on that profitability, but will also save money when it comes to retraining and retention and recruitment and investment and so on and so forth. To that end, as well as defining social responsibility for a new era, as well as looking at those 4 pillars, we also wanted to challenge the C in CSR, a sea change for CSR in fact. Increasingly, the term corporate has been challenged, and this is because it excludes a large number of stakeholders, specifically the third and public sectors, and because corporate does not encompass sole traders or smaller SMEs. For this reason, we have defined the C in CSR to be more inclusive. We don't want organisations feeling that social responsibility isn't something for them, because it is something for all of us, even as individuals. We now recommend that the C has a wider focus of audience-specific meanings. So for the private sector, yes, the bigger companies, it is corporate social responsibility. For sole traders and SMEs, we can call it company social responsibility. For the third sector, we can call it charitable social responsibility. And for communities and local authorities, schools, hospitals, we can call it community social responsibility. For products and services, we have consumer social responsibility, and training and workshops, we have citizen social responsibility. And if we put that all together, what we in fact have is collective social responsibility. We can surround these meanings with a caring, cohesive approach common to the wider collective. And in fact, somebody mentioned to me the other day, which I loved, was that the sea change for the new normal will be simply to care. And I think we have, you know, we can see how that has a very important impact on the world around us. So it's now more important than ever to show we are doing everything we can to improve the world we live in for future generations. Not only by reducing the negative impact we have on the environment, but by building a better and cohesive society. Social responsibility is not a cost, it is an investment. Use this time to demonstrate your commitment to others. Social responsibility makes us feel good because the message is about something good. It's not just an investment in your business, but in your staff, helping to enrich the quality of their lives with value and purpose. You will see a significant return in investment through improved reputation, an engaged and productive workforce, becoming an employer of choice, successful investment and tendering, and customer and consumer loyalty. You can do all of these things, and you can record and report on these things. What we do as an independent body is help recognise that you are delivering on your social responsibility. We deliver an independent accreditation that looks at those different aspects of your social responsibility. So you can look at what your business is already doing, and you can use what you're already doing against those 4 pillars to apply for an accreditation. This starts the journey. It benchmarks for the first time what your organisation is doing and helps you plan how you're going to deliver improvements within social responsibility in the coming months and years. And not only that, how it will have those positive business benefits to the success of your business. It is amazing what we are already doing that we don't talk about. The accreditation works in a way that has a totally independent accreditation panel of up to 20 professionals across all 3 sectors who will independently look at your applications and deliver a gold, silver and bronze assessment for your accreditation. Every accreditation benefits from 3 years accreditation, and you will also be certificated by an accreditation that is nationally recognised and endorsed by the Institute of Administrative Management and Buckinghamshire University. You will automatically be entered into the International CSR Excellence Awards, which traditionally are held at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art in July, but this year we have no idea what we're going to do with those awards. We're hopefully going to be doing them at the House of Commons in November, but even that's looking a little shaky. You will also be included in our directory of accredited members, and 5% of the application fee goes to charity, our nominated charities. I'd just like to point out that this webinar forms part of the Future Shape of Business, How Social Responsibility Will Have Influence series of online events. This one is the opening one that kind of sets the story, but we are going to be looking at the challenges of businesses face in the future. We're going to be looking at HR and CSR. We will be looking at mental health and well-being. We will be looking at how you develop a strategy within your business and how you communicate your social responsibility to wider audiences. So over the next 8 weeks, we will be delivering a further series of webinars. So I think that concludes the content from this webinar. Hopefully that's been of interest. I'm certainly happy to answer any questions you might have. I'm going to put my screen back to non-shared mode. There we go. Perfect. Hopefully, hopefully you saw that and heard all that, okay?
Yeah, absolutely fine.
Okay, do you have any thoughts on what I've been talking about, or do you would like any more clarity? Or?
Well, from my point of view, it's certainly something that I'm interested in, and I'm certainly starting to look down that line. I am effectively a sole trader. I'm a very new in February. Particular line of business is hit massively by this. I offer textile-based workshops with a well-being and sustainability theme to them. So I'm now looking at online, and I'm looking at also currently, I've been speaking to a local charity about how I can offer some of my workshops or some of my sessions that I've now developed online, where a percentage will be donated to their particular charity. So, but as for whether I'd be in a position to go for accreditation at some point in the future, I'm not quite sure.
Well, I mean, first of all, it's not exclusively about being accredited. The accreditation is a lovely way of being independently recognised.
Yeah, I think it's more a case of finding a way that, for my particular business, that I do consider that social responsibility and that well-being element there. Yeah.
I mean, the benefit of going through the accreditation process is really because it helps you develop that policy against those 4 pillars. That's a great way of then, communicating that on your website. So in terms of sole traders, we've got quite a number of sole trader individuals who are accredited, and actually we have found that it's the smaller businesses that have more to deliver on social responsibility. Larger organisations, they look like more finance or more giving or more volunteering time. But per head, they actually do less than people in smaller organisations who have a greater flexibility and capacity to do that. But aside from the accreditation, I think the thing is as well, is to show how important social responsibility is in the world we're coming into. And if you reflect that, I think what we're trying to do is say, look, it is inclusive, social responsibility is for everybody. And if you can then look at your business, especially when it comes to textiles, and say, well, what are the benefits in terms of the environment for that? What are the benefits in terms of workplace? And that includes the mental health and well-being bit. And then you clearly have identified working with charities and community projects. So in a way, it might help you refocus how you describe.
I suppose from my point of view, yes, it's what you offer is a framework that I can then use in terms of how I develop my business going forward.
Absolutely, and then you might find that in several months' time, 6 or 7 months' time, or 8 months' time, you've actually got with it, because you're using that framework. You say, well, actually, there's loads of stuff in these 4 pillars that then starts to become the basis. The nice thing about the accreditation is that you are doing it. It's not doing these things, and we find that all organisations we speak to at some level are delivering these things. It's helping you on that journey and see the value of that above and beyond what you do as a core business, the core purpose of your business. So in your case, your business already has a huge impact in terms of the environmental and mental health wellbeing side of things. And actually, I have worked recently with another textile designer that was really interested in biophilic design, which Blue Bamboo, I think, is the name of it.
I've heard of them, yes, yeah.
And that was working with cork predominantly, but it was really lovely to work to be able to offer something that actually had a huge impact on reducing echoes and loud noise and shocking sounds within kind of big spaces using fabric and textiles, but also to bring nature into the building had an impact on mental health and well-being. So I think that biophilic approach is something that businesses are, the thing is they don't know about it. They need to be educated and shown how that's going to have a positive impact to their business and their staff.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to send you, if you're happy to share an email address, I'm happy to send you some information that might help you. But I think the point of this webinar is not so much, of course we want to talk about the accreditation, but it's really about how you can embrace social responsibility and actually feature it as something that's central to your business. So on your website, perhaps even, say, even set up a page and kind of list out the things that you're doing that contribute to that. In terms of those other things I was talking about, if you're looking for investment or certainly tendering, then we know with absolute certainty that, certainly the stock exchange was talking about the fact that they will not invest in companies that aren't delivering on their social responsibility. And speaking to at the end of last year, we spoke to Lloyds, Barclays and Metrobank, and they've all said that, in normal times, business loans would not be, not necessarily given out unless there was a strong sense of social responsibility in the application. And of course, tendering, it goes without saying. So if you're tendering for public sector especially, I think it's 2 out of 3 local authorities now insist on social responsibility as part of the tendering process. So I think there's just, there are so many benefits to successful business aside from doing the right thing and supporting, social value.